What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to take a look at the 90-gallon part 3. This time I'm just going to fill you in on one of the new additions as well as the change in lighting on the aquarium. If you guys remember me mentioning last time, the light that I had on top of the tank took a plummet into the aquarium, of course, so I swapped it out with a brand new $229 fixture off of Amazon. It is the Aqua Light. It is 31 inches long, 300 watts. It has one plug for both of the channels. It runs blue, it runs white, both separate or together. You have a dimmer, a 24-hour timer on the front, and you can do this all by remote. So I'm pretty happy with it, pretty pleased with it. It covers a majority of the tank for what I want for the theme next to the Fluval Marine spec. So I can't complain. The coral looks even bigger than what it did in the last video, so it's responding very well. The torch almost looks like it's got two heads on it instead of just the one head it was working with, but actually I'm pretty sure it had two heads, Birdie. What are you talking about? It looks huge. Otherwise, everything else is doing pretty well. You can see the pink hammer down at the bottom almost looks like it's trying to grow around the rock, so I might be pulling that out more, but obviously things aren't in their permanent place. I was just making sure things were getting settled, and we'll see about moving it around and where it'll go in the tank. My Xenia is responding very well. I got a couple mushroom polyps that are scattered around the aquarium. As you can see, some are definitely bigger than others, but I think they're all different. The Recordia that I started with in the 90-gallon coral tank way back in the day is now up to like 15 polyps. And my green hair algae is still present. It's only in a couple spots in the tank. I do have cleaners working on it, but my nitrates are probably at a 20 part per million right now. I need to bring them down to about a 5 to a 4. We'll start to see that start to die off. I just got to do the work. Speaking of problems, my snail loves my macroalgae. Big problem. He should be focusing on the algae, not my pretty macroalgae. So, talking about snails, I got more problems. My Babylon snail has been sitting on his back for 3 days, and he's finally dead. I don't know why. I have no reason. I have no explanation. Babylon snails just don't seem to do good in my setup, so I'm not going to work with those anymore. Let them live in the reef. The cockatoo waspish poking his head out there, but everything else is doing well. It's a work in progress. It will be a work in progress. I'm just hoping to attack the algae next. So we'll see how that all ends up turning out and whether or not I can actually get all of it out. But you'll see the entonata line hiding in the front. But that's the light side of the aquarium. We are now going to move on over to the dark side of the aquarium. You have the devil scorpion fish sitting up top in the Xenia / toadstool rock. Generally, he spends most of the time up here compared to everyone else. I feel like Xenia's underappreciated. Let's talk a little bit more about that. It looks beautiful in the setup underneath the lights that I have it. I get it overgrows and outgrows, but I think it looks really nice. Speaking of things that look really nice, my Sargassum angler. We'll fill that in. He's on the left side now. He's no longer on the right side. If you remember, he ate my dwarf fuzzy lionfish. I didn't think he was that big. I guess he is that big, but the toadfish and the scorpions accept him as one and don't bother him. So happy to be able to see that that actually ended up working out for him on this side. The what's in the box, I mentioned in the last video, I had a very expensive box thing in front of me. Of course, we're going to take a look inside of that box now, but we're not going to look at all of it. We're just going to look at the most expensive part of what was inside of that box. Not saying that the other one wasn't equal, but this one I've been waiting for especially for a long, long time. For the last 10 years, I've looked at this fish and wanted to own one, but a $500, $600, $700 plus fish is not something I can just drop money on. So it popped up at work. I had the opportunity to order it. I ordered it. It showed up in great condition. I'm pretty pleased to be able to say that I'm finally an owner of one, but it is a Rhinopius frondosa. It is a big, weedy, leafy sea scorpion, and he is absolutely the coolest thing inside of the tank. My opinion. I love him. Of course, I wouldn't just have the fish without some sort of cool feeding video. So we're going to take a look at him eating a silver molly, which is acclimated to the aquarium for 30 days to the salinity of the tank. You want to make sure your fish are healthy. You're feeding your expensive fish, because if he eats a sick fish, he risks bacterial and fungal infection, and I don't want to kill him. We'll see how good this lunch is. Fantastic fish. Just phenomenal. I could not fish nerd out more about this fish. He will be swapped over probably in about another week and a half. I expect him eating live yet, but he'll probably be taken on to smelt, or I'll do the cocktail shrimp. But make sure you do a notable feeding style. Notable feeding styles make the biggest difference. If I feed him in a net like this all the time, he's going to assume that every time I come in with a net, I'm going to be feeding him. So if it's frozen or live, it's not going to matter. He just knows there's food oriented with that. So keep that in mind when you're feeding your ambush predators in general. But that is the dark side of the aquarium. I hope you guys enjoyed the review of the tank and the new additions. I will be filling everyone in on some of the other setups. I think next time around we'll take a look at the 40-gallon freshwater tank. So hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for part 4 on the 90-gallon. I will talk to you all next time.